All right, friends, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. That's Buddy the dog, who's not interested in what I'm doing. But anyway, this video you're gonna see today is not like my usual because it's a lot longer. I think it's gonna end up being almost 2 hours of video, which is probably condensed down from over 4 hours of footage. But what it is, I went to the Hartford Oliver Collectors Association winter get-together that was at Mayer Farm Equipment in Ohio, and it was an awesome time. I'm telling you, I wish I had had more time, that I could have stayed and, you know, visited more, because like you'll see when we get there, I didn't get a lot of footage of the vendor area because if I would go literally 3 feet, somebody else would stop and talk to me and say, hey, I meet you and watch you and stuff, and that was cool. I mean, it's interesting, like I always say, everybody recognizes me because you get to see me on camera sometimes, but I don't always know you by your face because I just see your names in the comments or whatever. So it was neat to finally put people's faces to different names, you know, and talk to the different people and see the, you know, all the sights. But the biggest thing about this video that you'll want to watch is that Oliver guy and I got to go on a tour of the Mayer Farm Equipment tractors. They were giving tours and we went over to sign up and the group was full, so we weren't going to get to go, and I was only here this one day. And then some guy was like, well, I'll take you on the tour. So we got to go kind of on a private tour and see all the stuff. And this was an awesome collection. If you like Oliver or Allis-Chalmers or Minneapolis Moline especially, there was a lot of that in this collection, and signs and just awesome stuff. So that's what you're gonna see. If you you need to watch this video all the way through. I know it's long, but if you can't watch it in one sitting, watch little chunks of it every day so you get all the way through it, because there is some cool stuff that you just don't get to see every day. And so yeah, that's why it's so long. There was no real logical way to split it up, because that all happened in one day. And like I said, I think we might have been looking at tractors for close to 4 hours. So it was pretty cool. But we're gonna take a look at that right after this. All right, we're here in Ohio at the 2025 winter get-together of the Hartford Oliver Collectors Association at Mayer Farm Equipment. So we're gonna check out and see what we find. This is most of their equipment lot, it looks like, but there's some tractors on display up here, so we'll check that out first. A 2655, built by Minneapolis Moline, of course. Good original paint. Can't really tell where it was sold new, but then we have is that a 1755 gas? It's missing the plate, but I don't think they made too many of the gas variety of those. Front wheel assist. $19.55. 1800B. Pretty nice originals. There's a loader tractor you've been looking for. 66 Industrial. I'm gonna look at these first. A white American 60. Beautifully restored Super 66. Look at that. Hydraulics, belt pulley with the correct L691 belt pulley. Very nice. A 60, all original with a planter. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that's nice. The flat tires, are you?
I'm glad you got over here.
Yeah, I did. It was a long trip from Iowa. Yeah.
So you yeah. Yeah, you.
Hey. Yeah.
My wife's in here. I tell her to come out, but well, it's good to finally.
I know. We finally made it. A show was close enough that I could do it in a day.
That's the main thing. Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get on a video.
you might make an appearance. I'll sneak in this back door here
a little bit, Rodney.
With the officials. Dad already snuck in here. He said he was going where it was warm. So.
Look at this.
Do you have a license to sell clothing in Ohio? I don't think you do.
That's confidential.
Let's see your business license.
Oh, I thought you were shorter.
You thought I was shorter? Yeah, you got it. You should. Just always look up to here. This is pretty neat.
Let him.
Yeah.
Your wife's pretty. You just happened to be there.
So what time did you leave?
We left at 6 o'clock, and so the time doesn't change from where I am to here.
Right.
But it changes for you probably twice. I don't know.
No once.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? You got.
Dave Westbrook.
All right. Yep. Nice. Good.
Pretty good. This is a
All right.
Probably met earlier that year. You retired in the spring of 23.
It's a little ways away.
Something for every Oliver enthusiast.
That's a little ways away.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hey. What do you know? That's right.
Finally able to meet
I know.
you in person.
I know.
Now I might be on
And you might be on YouTube, yeah. Man, are you buying or selling?
This is my cousin Rick Stair.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
We'll talk later. we got this on film. We rode down together, got a hotel room together, and
Yeah, you're not. How far are you from here?
it's like 2 hours probably.
So it's about like what I am from here too. I was a little more. It was about almost 3. So, but yeah.
From where the show was there a few years back in Indiana, southern Indiana.
Madison, I was about 40 minutes from there.
Okay, because I went to that one.
That's the last one I was at too, and then we were getting ready for that winter one, and then the whole world shut down right then, and that ruined all that. So, yeah, no, I'll have a face connected to it. Oliver Heritage and Heritage Iron. And we got
And you know, we have to edit out all the fatness and stuff too.
yeah,
I don't know if I've met you before.
yeah, I don't know either.
Katie Smith.
Yeah, I know I've talked to you.
I know.
Last time what was it? John went up and got that rear end from you. No, he still got it, but I've got 2 tractors of his to mess with, so we'll get it at some point. Classic Tractor Hardware.
No, she still got it all. You wrote that all down. She still got it.
Hey, morning.
Got into the donuts, huh, Larry?
And then they kind of just fell through and they're down there right. Yeah, this is the way you're talking about.
Hi.
So we're holding down.
Right. I come on down the opposite.
You gotta do that, damn right. Well, I gotta pick up the question from you.
$61.45.
You'd be the guy that walked across.
Yeah, this is like their store for the place.
But they got the collection on this hand.
Hi, pretty good.
I never met you. I'm Aaron. I watched
Okay.
you before. I know
Yeah,
internet and stuff. How are you?
pretty good.
Just telling the guy we watched. That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
The guy that's always rolling around.
Everybody can see me, but no, I can never see anybody else, so I don't recognize them when
Yeah.
I see them, but yeah.
Well, thanks for coming down.
Oh, no problem. I'm checking it all out,
Yeah.
so.
Pretty neat stuff here. Somebody's got.
For sale.
Oh, yeah?
The guy that owns this.
See Larry. Got about everything.
I figured you did. Allis-Chalmers. There's so much
Sales literature, or not,
other stuff that I don't have.
yeah. Service bulletins.
Hmm?
Service bulletins are mainly what.
How we get it.
Those are neat. 70-year-old belt sleeves and.
because there's different ages. There'll be different spots in the state. Right. Yeah. He told me
How we doing, stranger?
Pretty good. Yeah, I think this is neat because you've got it all from your family, you know?
Well, a lot of it I've collected too over the years, but yeah, some of it's from the dealership.
that's kind of our good.
Pretty cool.
Hope it's not so much athletic. But she likes to ski.
Yeah, there's stuff here I've never seen before. Stuff like that
Yeah, I tried to bring
from the...
some unusual stuff that you don't normally see.
Now, did they... What year did your people quit?
87.
So they would have got in on selling some of those little Japanese things or not? Like the little Isikis and
I
things?
really don't know on that. I don't know if they ever did get on the Izukis because we were a Heston dealer and a Long dealer.
Oh, so you had those
So,
little Heston tractors
yeah.
to fill in the...
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And at that time, we were kind of more focused on versatile because we were
The big four-wheel
yeah,
drive.
because everybody's going four-wheel drive and
That's neat.
so.
Is that a coat from the dealership?
Yeah, that's an original Lee Oliver coat.
Yeah, that's neat. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
They were asking about you at the truck stop. I don't know what kind of impression you left on them, but it was...
For Oliver Parts.
For Oliver Parts, a good time.
Good time.
Oh my goodness. Did you just come down this morning?
No, we came or got in last night and just wandered in. I mean, we just wandered in.
Just wandered in, yeah. We're getting the private tour. The VIP. Hey, you got one of those, don't you? Or yours is smaller, this Deutz.
This is newer. This is a 36, when I got the 30-06.
30-06.
30-06, yeah.
There we go, front wheel assist.
There's another, I think there's 900 front wheel assist, there's 1,000 front wheel assist back there.
Oh, Moline Dan would be in heaven right here.
I was just watching his video on
Yeah, that auction coming up.
yeah.
That one came out of Indiana.
This,
Front wheel system.
This is the
I don't know what number it is. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's got the same front axle like the Oliver's, doesn't it? Just a different carrier.
That's the Clark axle.
I was gonna say, and that, see,
That
did
one-
they make those, or are those like conversions like those IH did with those Elwood axles and stuff? I don't know.
I don't know my Molines.
I don't either. I don't. They were never around. Like,
But you could get the mini or the Massey Ferguson version of this with front wheel assist too. I've seen a couple.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, we don't leave them all over his stuff. Well, I got some too. Okay. That's a. There we go. Put that in there. Free advertising. Free advertising. Yeah. Just yeah, shove it way up in there so it vibrates down on the next
I
drive.
pull it out.
And then when they sell it on his auction, they'll be like, "Oh, this one came from Losey's up there in Michigan."
We were remodeling the living space above the dealership where we live now. We pulled down some trim, and here was a business card from the person that put some of the stuff
cool.
out. Really? That was neat.
Boy, that's immaculate. You never see them with, I mean,
No, and they're clean.
beautiful side, not cracked.
Dealer with an AGCO, I believe. They were an Allis dealer originally, I think.
Yeah, that explains their part.
Right.
You know,
Different colors.
I know in other buildings you've got a lot of Allis stuff.
The other one over here has got a lot of Allis.
G950.
This must be more of the mini mobile.
Yeah.
Who's the expert on this? What, when they did this bubble was like what, the first years, and then they went to the flat ones?
I think
Something like
so.
that, because you could get the green ones that way too. Some of them had bubbles, and
had
some of
bubbles. Yeah, because the 2050s and 2055s and 2155s could go either way.
and I didn't realize
must have
this
been
was
around the break.
that's all that holds that on there. It's no wonder they're yeah, just like a hinge with a. No wonder they're missing. Yeah.
No wonder they get broke.
Our present this will hinge up the hood.
Really?
It's pretty neat. I was impressed.
And I never realized that these were cast iron. I don't think I've ever been around one of these
Yeah, because this is the Oliver rear end
with the Moline
it's
front
basically a
engine.
250.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rear end is out of it? Yeah.
A 2150, yeah, because it's Moline engine, and
I know.
there's a red one behind you.
Oh yeah, this would be what? A G. Huh.
No, that's different.
Oh, this is like a
1350.
Heritage one. I was
Well, I don't think so, because it doesn't have the blue, and the decal does it.
it's the right year.
I wonder if this is a Canadian version.
But then it would.
I don't. It's maple leaf red. I don't know. I'm not up on that. Moline Dan will answer in the comments, I'm sure, about what we don't know.
Back building.
This is cool. Look at this.
That is a neat sign. It's really good shape.
Yeah, that's probably from the 40s. I mean, huh?
There's three of the same. I think you said.
Okay. Yeah, they got Wheatland fenders on them or something.
He said they're all three fuels he bought out of a private person had, just selling them. So there's diesel, a gas, and a propane.
That's neat, because I don't think I've ever seen them with these wide fenders. These D series tractors. That's just not something that was ever. This right here would be like what you'd find at home everywhere.
Probably just a gas tractor, right?
Just a little, yeah, narrow front gas. And there's the diesel D17.
That 155, they came back from the road tractor,
That's cool.
I don't know that they're all
D17 diesel.
It's basically the same engine.
Just like Dirk has at Mama Bear's Homestead and more, except not these wide fenders like that. That's cool.
which I guess he bought. It was John Kinzenbaugh's, or he was bidding against them on.
1155 Massey.
They all said was.
And that would be a tough.
180, 185 with a narrow front. I have to get around there to the other.
Got calcium special here.
Oh, another one. Yeah, Calcium has been here already.
Yeah, he already got the tour.
Man, I thought one was enough. It didn't appease the. There you go. Leave the Herman. I'll wait and stick it to a green one. I don't want to leave my name on it.
Yeah, the 98's over there. Because they were made on the same line, right? They just got painted red and silver.
Yeah.
They were made later though, weren't they? They were like
the.
the.
Think they were Super 99s, but
They were
actually
the.
990s.
They were the. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were built in. I'm pretty sure they were built in Charles City.
I've seen those factory photos where they're putting them together, you know.
Yeah.
But, and then
This is that.
That's the Moline, yeah, Moline one. I thought it was a 97. What was a 97? I thought it was a
That
Moline.
as well. I think they did 2 with Moline and only 1 with Oliver.
Okay.
Why did they sell them out to the?
Their factory burned, I thought, didn't they? And then they had
Never
to.
could find evidence of factory burning.
Oh, that's just a wives' tale
I
then,
think
huh?
so.
They just maybe get more production. Than
They had been concentrating on the smaller lines.
And they wanted
realized
high
they were falling
horsepower
behind in
tractors.
Horsepower, and so we want to get on the market. I got them on the market until they
So
could
they
sell
bought a
them.
proven product.
Yeah.
And I've always liked these body style too. These. I don't think that well, maybe I will fit. Amazing. Yeah, it's a one-way. That's fine. I could live here. Look at that. 1150 V8. That's cool. That is cool. 1155. And all the signs. And look at this D19 diesel, narrow front, turbocharged, because I think D19 was the first turbocharged tractor from a factory. I can't say that for certain. Allis people can chime in. A 185 with a narrow front, that's cool. Full rack of weights up front, just how I like them. '9600 Ford. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of environmental.
That's why you cut the stump sometimes you're crashing the concrete.
That's perfect.
The environmental stress.
Yeah. It was pumped out of the ground when it was made. It can go back. There's the 210. This is he's got a front wheel assist one somewhere.
Yeah,
doesn't
that's in another building, I'm pretty sure, unless he sold that one.
That's a pretty nice
I know there's
original.
we can go back. There's another barn we got drafted, but he said we can draft it along. But there's serial number 1 of an articulated.
Ooh.
Like that 4, I can't remember.
Yeah.
300 things.
That's
I always look at these Wheatland frames. God,
yeah. The way they.
so much easier to work on.
You can get in the thing and work on it.
What was the? Wondering why they did that? Was there some specific
the same
reason?
tub as like
was
a
it for?
19
Cause
It's the same, no, because the mounts are in different spots. It's the same as an industrial frame.
because of mounting stuff on it, or just because that's what they had?
No one, I guess.
No one knows.
They
No one knows.
could, I guess, you know, that they weren't row cropping, so they weren't gonna have their wheels in there where you had to worry about wheels hitting the frame
And I guess I've never seen these Wheatland shields on a 55 series. They weren't hinged. I didn't know that. This one, that's rigid. I didn't know.
This is the rear mount. You ain't coming on.
Oh, so they're both rigid.
Probably just a wide drawbar. No.
Oh yeah, it's got rear steps on it, doesn't it? Big platform.
There's primer under these panels, so I would say
That's
they
neat.
look factory.
I've never seen one of those, but obviously this was sold in Canada, so that's probably what they wanted up there, was this standard tread tractor with. But then that's funny that they put steps there. There ain't nowhere to go. Yeah, I guess fuel. Yeah, I guess that's what that was for.
Fuel, yeah.
And that's the same like on your. Well, it's basically two, I guess. One flipped upside down. But
Oh yeah.
it's like on the whites. Like my two have the double step, but I don't think. I think they're made as one. This is like.
But yeah, that is.
Two.
Well, someone was thinking.
They do some stuff, man. They don't tool up and make new parts. They use what we got.
And
Yeah.
repurpose it.
Look at this thing.
Is this a
Diesel D19.
high crop?
High crop. Boy, there can't be many of those.
Or many that are around it.
That's what I mean. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it was always
Buddha diesels.
the hired guy running these.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and you can chime in if you know, but D19 I think was the first turbocharged tractor sold from a factory, like that you could get as a turbocharged tractor. I don't know.
I know the claim goes to Allis-Chalmers, but what model it was is not in my.
Yeah. Oh, this is cute.
Yeah, you don't see many of these.
No.
This was very
A 1555 basically as a yellow.
The number I think was like 28, or was it lower than that?
It could be.
It was.
It
very
was
low.
yeah, not many. You
Of
see a
all
lot of the 750s, 650s. I
All the
think.
yellow Olivers. This is definitely the hardest one to find,
Yeah, that's neat.
unless you want front wheel assist.
Right, then it's probably even more.
There were two 1850 or G940s made with front wheel assist, one gas and one diesel, and the same guy's got both.
There was a 1655 size one sold locally, and a guy had it. He died, and another guy bought it on his auction, and it was, if you'd have taken the time to polish it, it would have looked like new. That guy sandblasted it and repainted it, and I thought, what a waste. It was perfect. But there's another little German-speaking feller. 45-06, and you got a what? A 30-06. That's an interesting sign.
a neat sign.
I don't think I've ever seen one like that either.
With a garden tractor.
It's got a garden tractor and a 190 on it. That's cool. That is cool. and the clock with the message board. The dealer I worked at had an Allis-Chalmers message board clock, but it
With
was
the old school with the.
theirs is an AC, and I think I got to remember now if it has the clock is in the center maybe on that one, and then it has logos on each side and then a message board at the bottom, but it's something like that. But
I worked at a parts store. We had like a Champion spark plug one, and we would change the
message.
you know, what was on sale. It was like, oh, you know, and we push them numbers in, and the pegs would be broke off.
Yeah, that is cool. What we got here in Evans something. That's beyond my scope of knowledge there. That's cool. Oh, the D21.
There's quite a few of them around. Them are really a
Yeah.
I saw, did you see that video the other day on YouTube? That territorial trading guy, he went out to an auction somewhere, wherever he's from, and they had a D21 with a loader on it, grown up in the trees growing through it, and it brought like 15,500 non-running with trees growing through it.
Really?
So, I don't know, I can't believe it.
Pay attention to that almond auction with those on it with the.
I watched some of them. The articulated brought like 26,000, I think.
That's kind of low.
The high-end stuff was soft, and I thought the more common stuff actually brought decent money.
The one I really liked was that 1850 special, and I didn't think it was bad. It was only like $6,400, and another one was that 1550 utility. That was a sweet little tractor, and it wasn't that much either. I can't remember.
Open my file.
Oh, I didn't even notice above our head.
Oh, yeah.
All the seats.
That's the white.
Look at that.
Oh, and
Cast iron seats.
so we were asking how much weight you think is hanging.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot of weight when you think about it. I never even noticed that. That's neat. There's some of the.
You hold it once and you don't seem that bad. You start putting 100 of them.
And so there's a flat rack wagon back there that's got a pile of them.
Oh, really? No, I did. I missed that.
They're just stacked, like 3 rows of them.
All the ones we haven't got to hang up yet. Yeah. That's neat though. There's things up there I've never seen. Some of those. And I remember as a kid, you'd go to farm auctions as a kid, and that stuff would sell for $5 the whole thing. The implement, you know, horse tools. You couldn't give them away. Steel wheel tractors, $15. That's pretty massive.
They should stick to the ground.
Wonder what those weigh. And there's 2 of them, aren't there? 2, one inside and
One outside.
there's 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside. So, no, that's got some.
He made a comment yesterday because we were in the other barn. He goes, "My truck driver always hated me when I bought stuff because you buy the heaviest."
The heavy.
tractors of all."
On the full rack. Here's something people may or may not know. These double handle suitcase weights were actually Minneapolis Moline, and the Oliver ones they just shaved the name off. So that was the So that was a Minneapolis Moline acquisition. It's where they could, how can we put them in the truck? Yeah. You gotta take the locks off the.
There was someone reproducing these in aluminum, so I was wondering if these were the.
They're originals. Yeah. Yeah, I asked that guy about that because they were like, I don't know, they weren't really that cheap in the grand scheme of things, but they'd light.
Yeah, if you're just taking it
to fill it.
Yeah.
Or you could put one original.
Oliver ones for my 1955 instead of a full set.
I've got 4 out of however many they take. What they take 8 for a full rack.
Yeah.
I guess without the extension wings.
Yeah, I've got a few.
That's another factory clock.
We can walk to the next barn over there. Sure.
That sounds like exercise. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Look at that. I need to walk.
You think of all those signs and stuff that people just threw in the dumpster when they were done because they thought, we don't need that.
I don't know he didn't show us anything in this one.
I gotta give my grandpa credit.
He saved everything in the end.
I might need that again someday.
Yeah.
You go digging and here's all this literature.
Oh, we got like a 1-cylinder Deutz.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on a 2-cylinder John Deere here, and they seem primitive. I wonder how 1-cylinder farming was. Yeah, all day long.
Well, I guess
Should be, is it not? Yeah, air cooled. That is an early machine right there. Huh.
What's that word there, Mr. German?
I'm not gonna say it. That's naughty. No. Yeah.
You get demonetized.
Yeah. Luft is sky, so I don't know what they were going. I guess that's supposed to be air cooled. It's probably what cooled. Luft to get cool by the air. Yeah. That's I didn't realize that was an Allis-Chalmers there. One of those 2035s or whatever they are. Would have been green. Yeah, exactly. Now we don't talk about that anymore. No, that's not. We're not allowed. That'll get you demonetized. We're not. Allis-Chalmers transformer. People don't realize they made everything. Yeah.
There's a tag right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think they're still in business selling stuff like this, are they not? Under the Allis-Chalmers name, electrical components. They made a little bit of everything back in their day.
Oh, he did have, and maybe hopefully he still does, like this huge Allis-Chalmers engine that was used like a shipyard.
Oh, that's cool.
I think this is one.
Oh yeah, we can't show this either. I got one of them, but that's not politically correct. If they got rid of Aunt Jemima, they won't like that.
Bringing her back.
Yeah, are they? That's good. They're gonna put the Indian back on the Land O'Lakes butter. Oh, here we got some neat stuff.
I heard that.
W.
There's an Oliver sign, a nice one.
Oh, that is a nice condition.
Yeah.
And we got a WD-45 diesel, single front wheel. I bet that's fun to turn.
Sits up pretty high too.
Yeah, it's like a high crop diesel. That's neat.
Must have been a produce tractor.
Old WC. You probably don't. Do you remember the one great grandpa had of a WC open? Or do you only remember the WD?
I only remember the WD because we put a corn picker on it.
Yeah, see they had it on that one first, and then somewhere along the line he swapped and got a newer.
I don't remember that.
And the only reason was because of sweet corn picker. They had a sweet corn picker, and that's why they had it.
Yeah.
Allis-Chalmers had a thing where you could take out the snapping rolls and change them and pick sweet corn with it.
Really?
So that's why they got that. And there's one I've never seen, a wide front
I don't know what it is.
WC. It would be a WC, I think, unless that's unless they call that a WF. But
No, I lived in an Oliver.
yeah. And the pedal tractors. That's neat as a wide front. I think that's cool.
I had to go to school to find out there was other brands.
Yeah, they make other things.
Green track? Yeah.
Basically, they didn't make anything else. You were taught right. You were taught correctly. There's a neon Ford sign.
Is that where he lives? Is that the family farm?
Oh, look here. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Very rustic.
Yeah, it's propping his chair
There
up.
in 1957.
Okay.
No, well, they bought.
They lived at your house for a
Yeah,
year.
they lived in my house for a year.
Okay.
They got married in
Imagine
57.
having so many signs just stacked.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have, you
See
know?
what this Oliver one says, but I don't want to ruin any of the others in the process.
Here,
Don't record this part.
okay, we'll cut this out for legal purposes. This is narration only.
Podensky
Brothers.
Never heard of that.
But that's about
That
immaculate.
is a nice, just enough patina to make sure it's real.
Yeah,
Crunch.
yeah. Oh, well, it's broke. Now we got to take it with us.
Have you seen my Whirlpool sign? We were a Whirlpool.
Yeah, that's right.
Whirlpool dealer. We were.
What do we got here? What is a pinball machine? Okay.
So this combine here is on a Fordson tractor, but it's I forget what he said. There's something, it's like one of one made. This way, this combine.
Well, you're
One of one.
Guess it's not much different than a corn picker, though.
Yeah, I'd say after a day of using this, you'd probably switch back to a horse, wouldn't you? I don't know. Look at that gleaner. The gleaner.
Oh, it's a gleaner, that's right.
It's a gleaner. It's got
It's a gleaner, yeah.
beautiful patina on it. But yeah, look at that. I mean, they had her figured out though. I mean,
They did have it,
you had the
picked with it or cut, you know, anything, but they did have it.
you had the head in front of you instead of offset. But
Visibility would have been.
yeah, it still wasn't that great. Because look at the cutting width isn't even the full amount of what you have here. Yeah, this is like the feed house here off to the side.
Standing the whole time, and then
You ain't gonna see the rock you're gonna hit.
And we got the wooden super snoot with the.
but it's got a 6-volt battery. You want me to spin her up?
How are you gonna crank it? You're gonna crank it. There's no starter, so you crawl under the head to crank it here, or is that what we do? I think what you do, you park you park it on a hill and then you just never shut it off.
Was that what you
Yeah, because
Customer that they're 880 diesel, they just always park at the top of the hill.
the starter quit. Yeah, well, there you go.
I bought my Super 88 diesel. The guy went to go. He goes, "Well, there's no starter. We just roll it down the hill." All right, cool. So how are we gonna get in the trailer a flat piece of ground?
Have you ever seen in your travels one of those hydraulic starters that they exported?
No.
I've always thought that would be cool to see how that really worked, because I mean,
I know I've got literature on it and stuff, but I swear Matt Clark come across some bits and pieces
of one.
of one when he found all that stuff from the.
That would be cool, because I mean, I think if I was a guy, like an old time guy, I'd have been like, give me that thing. It doesn't cost any money. Yeah, that's what I want. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't sell some here.
I think this weighs a little bit.
Yeah, I would say, look at that.
With the crankshaft
Custom
and all.
Stein stand. Boy, that's a pristine sign really too. It's got a crack in it, but there can't be many of them left.
Definitely could fork with them.
I've got a friend who lives around me who he collects mainly GM signs and stuff, but his grandpa was an Allis-Chalmers dealer, and he's got stuff like this you've hardly ever see. I don't know where he gets it all over the country, but I mean, look at this.
I need a set of main bearings for my Allis-Chalmers sign.
Yeah, my I need a crank turn on my sign pole. That means two different things depending on whether you're at the truck stop or not. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, this is neat too. Look at this bubble sign.
Yeah, that's
new idea.
Yeah, that is.
That's like those yellow Oliver signs that are impossible to find.
Plastilux signs.
Plastilux. That's the
So Larry said that Allis-Chalmers bubble over there, back there.
Oh, that's different.
Never seen one.
Oh, that's wow.
He thinks it was like at a display, probably like a
Oh, like a show. Yeah, one of those type things.
Allis-Chalmers got
Like the World's Fair type thing, huh?
They made it up just for the show.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, probably is a one-on-one.
And this little tractor
a
loader.
little loader. He said they would use it to unload box cars, and it'll turn.
Like on a dime, basically, huh?
Like a skid steer.
Yep.
That's cool. Cool stuff.
I tell my wife, you're like candy. She's like, you're the only person that thinks that.
There's the 220 front wheel assist.
Yeah.
These tractors, they look cool, but when I worked on them, I never realized they don't have shift on the go like the later ones. It's gear to gear, so you have to stop moving, shift it into low or high. So they're cool, but they don't work anything like the 190s and 200s where you can.
I have no
So-
experience with those, but
Well, there's
yeah, I guess when you compare it, how many horse was a 220?
probably about, I don't know, 120 horsepower probably.
Still, you compare it to a 2050 or 2150 that had.
I know, and shift on the go.
three-speed
I
shift
know.
On the go, yeah.
That's cool. A Fint. Probably not another one of them over here.
No, that's definitely a different one.
They spend a lot of time on styling instead of extra cylinders. You know, we got enough time. We spent 8 weeks on the hood. One cylinder's good enough. We don't need any more.
You know how long it takes?
Yeah. Yeah, sheet metal, much easier. Stamp out sheet metal. Look at that thing. What's that got, a siren on it or a horn? What is that? Look at that thing up there.
Looks like the end of a
Well, that's when you call your
Yeah.
credit card driver. You just sound that out.
Yeah, that's
Sound when you start getting wound up in something, you pull the siren at the last minute for call for help. Yeah, so that when you're getting fed in, the siren goes off and somebody knows to come pick up the pieces.
Well, I'd say there was some green run through it at one point.
Oh yeah, a little K. That's cool.
even that green over there, I would have to run through it. That's just too cool.
I know, it is.
Even if you just
That's one of those. You talking about that power unit?
Is that a generator?
I think he just mounted the power unit. Or are you talking the big one?
On the left, the orange.
Well, there's two orange things.
No, they're connected.
No, they aren't. They're just backed up to each other.
I mean, look.
They're power units. See? Yeah, there you go. Electric motors. No, this is a belt pulley. This is like what was on the Ferris wheels and stuff.
Right.
And then this is a bigger version of that. This is a big power unit, like for a oil field or something. No, they're two separate ones. I've never seen one of those with little side shields on it though. All the ones at the fair on the rides were open. D17. Oh, these are, this one's propane. A 190 propane. Narrow front. That's cool too. That's something I've never messed with, and I'd like to, as a propane tractor. Some guy had a Moline, and I tinkered with it a little bit, and I obviously don't understand what's happening to. There's a very specific procedure about knob turning and
Yeah, I think you got to
starting. I don't know. When I was done with that, then I tried to start the tractor, and I couldn't. No.
I've heard, yeah, they'll start better if you give them a shot of liquid.
The vapor, yeah.
And then switch over to vapor.
I just worked on a propane Vista for our president. Yeah, you gotta push the.
Joe Biden has a propane.
No, our president of our Allis. No.
What year is it? Your year.
Hey man, come on.
Yeah, you gotta start it on vapor.
Start it on vapor and then switch it to liquid.
Once it warms up, because the liquid side of the carburetor has coolant running through it, so you gotta have it up to operating temperature.
Oh, okay.
To turn the liquid side.
Yeah.
I knew there was something to it.
But you can't probably draw enough off the tank as vapor to get.
No.
To get right.
It's basically how my grade dryer, that runs off from liquid, but the burner heats it, so when it comes out, it's gas.
Gas, right.
But I'd never get it up to temperature if it was just drawing the vapor side.
Yeah, and there's like a
Single
push a button,
front wheel
it releases. It's like
D17.
priming
Yeah,
the
there's
face.
like you can give it a quick shot of something to help it. Yeah,
And one of the upsides is that LP gas tank is bad.
Yeah, so infinite storage. Yeah.
But then another friend was like, imagine you got a couple of them in your barn, so one of them's got a slight leak, and
And it blows. Oh yeah. The IDM. That's probably like an airport towing plane.
Found it at an auction somewhere, and it was not in this shape, and he had brought it home and he painted it.
You want to talk about heavy? Wondering what that thing weighs. Look at the whole back is cast iron.
The other side, there's a torque converter in it.
Is it really? Yeah, because they'd probably want to move them pretty quick. Oh yeah.
And it's got a pedal just like your
reverse, or
I would think one is reversing forward, probably.
like your mower.
Right.
I wonder if it's got a generator on it. A lot of them would power up the plane while it's
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But you just brought up a good idea. You should get a big propane, something to run your grain dryer, and you'd only need one tank. You could have it plumbed into the tractor and into the thing.
I've thought about that.
And then when it blows up, everything will be clean there. There won't be any pieces to pick up.
You have a diesel tank there for the.
Oh yeah, you do, don't you? Because you have that cap with the thing, so it just.
Yeah, it just siphons off and slowly feeds in from the overhead tank. And you can run it for several. I've done that. We had a power outage that lasted almost a whole week.
Yeah.
I
Really?
ran American on that.
You didn't rotate tractors in or anything? Or?
I should have.
Oh.
I wanted something that was fuel efficient.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Most of it got almost. Just run the generator.
You just lost all that resale value by putting all those hours on there.
The dealership was still open.
That's what you
Oh, really?
there.
Yeah.
So you had to have power.
I had to have power.
Ross, you had that cool cab Suburban. You look good in that.
I don't know. It's a Chevrolet. I don't think I could do that. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Cool.
Yeah, I bet it.
I actually heard it might have been a 6.5 just the other day.
Oh, it's a dually. I didn't realize it was a dually.
Truck comes up the intersection. It's a 6.2, maybe a 6.5. But you don't get anymore. Right.
Yeah, and it's a big
454, huh? That's what you Chevy boys call a big one.
Yeah. We had a 454, what was that, 81 on the farm. With 456 gears, we'd haul the hogs with it.
Really a good shape. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing.
All these square bodies are
I know, worth their weight in gold. And a Suburban square body.
insulation under the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how many of those have that left there? Even remnants.
Yeah, I don't think they insulated it.
The front two seats are kind of rough, but basically the interior's not too bad.
Almost more like a zero turn.
Well, there's a Massey Ferguson sign in there crate. I wonder if that's probably never been out of the crate, has it?
How it came to the
Yeah, because it's got the dealer's name on it.
Ran when parked. Lighted up when parked. Yeah.
A new idea sign. That globe thing though, that's cool. I don't know. The backside's a little bit
Edit that out of your video.
busted. Yeah, no. You don't want that? I'll just put in something over it, like a animal fart.
Someone told me yesterday, I can't wait. Can't wait till Ross is here to make animal noises.
That's nice that people want to do that at me.
I bet you're not the only one.
Yeah.
By the time Ross goes home, he's gonna wish he
Yeah, I was gonna wish I'd have just stayed home. Yeah. I didn't know we were so enamored with that. I didn't see the giant AGCO sign behind it.
You didn't see the AGCO sign behind it?
That's like 7 feet across, probably.
Yeah, and it's square. That's kind of a different one. Usually they're more
Like rectangle.
Yeah.
Huh.
That was probably theirs, right?
Probably.
Yeah. It's been out in the yard too for a little bit.
Yeah, you. Tour's getting there.
Yeah, so we need to go. No. What are you doing here? 70-30. Those are the ones that came out with first, I think, in the 7000 series. Oh, and there's a little yellow feller back here. I don't know what this is. A Minneapolis Moline. Is this one of those things they call the Big Mo? Could be. Sorry, I said I saw a butterfly and I wandered off. Sorry.
Is that what that was?
Oh, we got big toys out here.
Well, he said that this HD16, he had it at Ranch 2 like 4 years ago, pulling like 8 or 10 bottles while they had up there or something.
Cool stuff.
Wasn't it Rantoul the last time where they had all the D21s gathered?
Yes,
Maybe
I
that's where
think
he
so.
had that. I don't. Yeah, it was right.
HD16.
I remember watching a video and there was a lot of them there.
Yeah, and think about how easy that is to haul around to take to a show. That's tons of fun right there.
Yeah, that's probably a semi-load all on its own.
This is cute. I don't know what this is. Size HD5.
Well, you have reached.
The climax. The big climax. Yeah. We should have saved this for last.
Yeah. Well, you can editing.
Editing. I'll put it in at the end. A white American 80. Looks just like the one I had, except not burnt.
Oh.
Canadian. Yurka. Yurka. Oh, that's in Canadian. That says buddy. That is an excellent original, I have to say, because you all know how silver paint holds up excellent outside, you know. And this is, or do you think it's
used with chalk up?
Yeah. I mean that has to be original, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that
I
hasn't
think
been
it's touched up some on the tub.
on the tub, but not the.
That's why I want to get a picture of silver tag. Remember we were at
Maybe it's been restored. I don't know. Maybe
one of the farm shows, and they hadn't canceled the Americans yet, but there was some on display at AGCO's thing, and some of them had this, new idea gray.
Yeah.
Some of them had Charles City charcoal metallic.
Oh, really?
And I told Dad, I said, they're using up all the
paint.
Whatever's left.
Yeah.
And I said, they're done with these. Oh no, they're gonna keep making them.
Nah.
It wasn't much longer. We got
So how many years did they make them? It was only
what 89,
Yeah.
90, and 91.
3 years.
Yeah.
three. That was
And how many did you sell? You think?
Let's see, 1, 2.
Did you sell all green or some gray?
We did sell some gray. If we ordered them in, they were green. But a customer come in, and we had, especially towards the end, we were transferring.
You
them
got
from
whatever
other
you could
dealers.
get.
Yeah, and it was pretty much gray.
Yeah.
But
And the yellow is like the rare.
yeah, that's like the rare one.
More than the red too? Or I think they're probably about the same.
They're pretty
I guess.
close. It was basically almost 50-50 between green and gray, and then just like the other 10%.
Well, yeah.
10% was yellow and red.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one of these either. As a open station,
I'll tell you by
two-wheel drive.
Fords are not. You don't ever see a Ford like that.
There's a few around home.
Industrial.
But-
yeah, sure. 545
The-
backhoes and stuff like that.
These big ones, not really. I mean, I don't know.
That maybe that's the big one. I don't know. That's a big horse.
We got all of that. Look at all that stuff.
Just leave her on the trailer. Right. Just easier. It's easier. What are you gonna do with it? Right. I bought a trailer just to put the ends on.
And you got their dirt pile inside so you can play with your dozers when it's raining outside.
In wintertime, this stuff doesn't freeze.
Look at this little feller here.
I didn't even know this was here.
Had Moline fenders on it at one time. No, that's probably
Look
the
at all the
primer.
yellow- is that
The
primer?
I think that's the primer. It's not bright enough.
Look at the grill.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it?
is
Is
it
this that? This is that one that sold on an auction several years ago. That is a repainted
One in
Moline.
Canandaigua, remember?
Yeah, that Boy, that yellow doesn't look bright enough to be the Moline yellow, though, does it?
It might sat out in the sun before it got painted.
Before it got painted green.
You can see remnants of Moline decal.
Yep. M-I-I.
M-I-I. That's Roman numerals for what, 1,000? I don't know.
1002.
There you go.
What's
Good.
interesting,
It does have the Moline tag on it.
this would be what, 70,
Because
71?
it's up higher.
But yeah, this is, but it's got the cooler pump up higher. Well, it has the cooler pump, but early ones.
We're
stuck
down,
here.
mine's down at the bottom.
Said they did that because of the flow, right?
Air in the system.
Or was it up?
It was up first and then lower.
That's
Yeah,
right,
because I was going to
okay,
say, because
that is
it's
right.
trying to get the air out of it.
Yeah, because it's sitting higher than the level
Yeah.
of the soil, so air could get into it. And,
Which really, that moving it down, yeah, kind of. I mean, not by much, but
yeah, it would make more sense. I mean, it's cleaner. Being in.
it's cleaner up there, but it's not as functional, I guess. I don't know. And then another thing I noticed, which I guess I've never been around enough of these Molines, but did they all have dual headlights in the fenders like the 50 series?
Well, they had none in. They had nothing
In the grill, that's true. So they did the
light bucket. Or,
the light bucket from the old.
That would make sense.
Yeah. That's neat. I know. Are the handles correct too? Yes, they are they not?
They're in the right spots.
They may not be.
got
They may
some-
not be the.
They've been a little added on to.
Or the other two go forward for a loader, I bet, huh?
Yeah, there's remote right there and there.
These are homemade-ified, aren't they? Because they've got extensions on.
Yeah, the extensions are definitely at least homemade.
How are you've got originals of that? How long are the back two if they didn't have that on there? Are they?
They stick up about the same, but it is a longer lever just because
Because of the way the pivot, yeah.
Don't a lot of guys extend them?
Yeah.
Longer, right?
Yeah, well, like that.
That's kind of happened
That
here.
tractor I bought from the junkyard the other day, he had a welder and he knew how to use it. He welded on all kinds of stuff.
The welder didn't come with instructions.
Yeah, well, creativity, the sky's the limit. That's a nice tractor. 1130, tricycle,
I'll check that out.
Perkins diesel. That's cool. Front weights on it. Original paint. Ah, that's neat.
No, this is pretty new, I would say.
That's part of the dirty part of that color.
Right.
Yeah,
It looks like the drawbar goes up and not the 3-point.
that is cool.
Yeah, almost like a power traction control.
And a factory canopy, which I don't think I've ever seen a Massey Ferguson factory canopy.
And it's, yeah, the tag on
Because it's got the tag on it, yeah.
rings for insulation.
Wonder how many of these.
Works out.
Wonder how many of these got thrown in the dumpster at home this last week when I was trying to cart stuff out of that salvage. There was a lot of Massey Ferguson.
And that's
in that.
heavy. Look at the.
Oh yeah,
It's heavy duty.
That's a unique drawbar.
yeah, that's something. I mean, you don't want to forget you got it down and back up.
Yeah.
I mean,
You'll remember.
I don't think he'll tear it up though. That is the saving grace of that. I mean, that there's nothing on that that's light duty.
For the trailer for the engine.
There you.
Yeah, right.
What's this? A Twin City, or what?
Has that look to it.
Or an Altman Taylor, maybe. Didn't they have this kind of holy front oil tank thing?
Cooler heat exchanger.
Yeah.
And check the serial number tag.
I like the headlight. Check that out while you're up there.
That's an Altman Taylor.
Is it Altman Taylor? The headlight's like a World War II spotlight or something. I mean,
Just waiting for the air raid sign.
yeah, I mean, there we go.
That
Yeah.
laser. I think I got this exact same one.
Really?
Yeah.
They probably made 1 billion of those, I bet.
Yeah. How many are still alive?
Yeah. I mean, this is something. You see pictures of these, but until you're next to one, you don't realize how big they are. I mean, this is as high as I can reach, and I can't reach the top of the fender. Huh. That's pretty cool. Twin cooling fans.
Well, optimal cooling.
Yeah, optimal. And they still were building steam engines, so they just couldn't get away from that idea. So they made the radiator like a boiler, you know.
You know, it probably sold to farmers.
Because yeah, we know what we're doing. Yeah. looks like a steam engine. So
Wasn't there something about like tractor seats or something were arranged for a while, more like horse ridden?
Oh, really? So the people would feel comfortable.
Some remember seeing it. There was some tractor and it was built. It actually ran with
Like the rain drive. I think those are cool. The Samson rain drive tractors, and then those little ones that use the Allis-Chalmers power units. There's one of those around home.
Yeah,
and then there was another one too that was, I don't know.
I think the idea was they were marketing to the horse.
They could hook their horse tools to it and drive her just like
they were used to driving it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that one, I don't know if that's that Samson rain drive tractor, had like the clutches were flat belts, and you gave it like one tug on the reins to get it to go, and then the second tug was supposed to disengage the clutch. And yeah, so you know that worked real good after a few thousand tugs. I could have put that a lot of different ways, but I knew you'd like it better if I said it that way. So big generator.
Should have brought my glasses.
Still got the AGCO, still has the filter. It looks like they changed them to spin-ons.
Oh yeah, there's an adapter in there.
So they must have been like cartridges before. That's what we got. Could we run Springport, Michigan on one of these, or would we have to get two?
There's lots of numbers, but the part that tells what the numbers means.
It's gone. So it's whatever you want it to be.
Pick a set of numbers, and that's what it is.
As long as you can cook your pizza with it, we're fine.
Yeah, I think you could probably run the microwave with it.
Look at that sucker. Individual coils on each cylinder. No, generator.
Each coil instead of having a distributor. I guess some still come some kind of distributor to trigger the coils, but
This fancy computerized ignition system.
Starfire.
HEI.
It is microprocessor ignition system.
We had to get this out of here in a hurry, so just cut the cables off.
I
And,
think. I wonder what the old ignition system was, because they updated it with that.
yeah,
to
they
get it to
changed.
work.
It'd be interesting to see, but
But yeah, it must be they couldn't get parts to.
I wonder if each one had a mag. No, because how would you spin it, right? You'd have to.
well, they could have had it some other location than right underneath.
Yeah.
It was probably driven off of something that's got a plate on it now. Buddha, big Buddha. That was your high school wrestling name, wasn't it? Big Buddha?
Big Buddha.
big. Now it's and badged as an Allis-Chalmers, so they used a lot of Buddha engines.
Yeah, I believe this was.
Oliver used Buddha.
Buddha, yep. The 80 diesel.
I think he said this is serial number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Serial number 1, 4W220. That's cool. There was a few of these, I believe, in our area. There's a lot more of the 8550s, and what was the smaller one? A 70 something? I don't know. And the rotobailers. I've wanted one of these for years. I can never find one close enough that I want to pull it home, because look at it. There's no easy way to haul it.
Yeah.
You can't take it apart in any way to make it narrower, because the axle's as wide as the thing. And I always heard, true or not, that the white top ones were the second run and they never were as good as the first ones. And I can't figure out why, because they were made in the same place with the same stuff. But
You would think they'd figure stuff out.
You would think the second generation.
you would think, but that's what Guy said, that the orange top ones were way better than the white one. But I'm always amazed why I think I want one, because look at all this. Some guy had to think this up and figure out how to make this go. Like, there's nothing on there that's a straight piece or what. I mean, everything is curved and has to be perfectly timed so that it. Yeah, I could watch one of these.
The size of a square bale.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a guy around me who's got one, and he bailed with it, and he said that when he fed the bales, they didn't waste as much out of these little round bales versus a square. I don't know if it has something to do with the shearing of the square baler or packing it up or what, but
Yeah.
he said they ate more of that and didn't waste any. So
Yeah, I could see where the material would.
it'd be kind of like you hugged it in a big ball and tied a string around it. But
Yeah, instead of smashing it.
We like them all, yep.
I like all tractors of any kind. That's when I brought that little C home the other day and stopped there, and you were like, "What's with that?" And I said, "It's a tractor. I like tractors." Yeah, with a full rack up front. Now, 2 150. That one's been well loved. It's probably one of the few. I don't think two 150s were highly regarded, but
Yeah.
I would still have one if I found one. Look at that though, the block heaters.
Well, you'd have to.
Yeah, because each different head.
Yeah, each jug is its own.
So the first two, it's only got two
get
jugs have heaters, and the third one is just kind of hanging in the breeze. So yeah.
Get one of them extension cords with the 3 edges.
Yeah, and just plug them all in.
Plug 'em all
That's good wattage there, yeah. No, yeah, you just cool. You just heat 2 of your jugs, and then the third one is just room temperature.
You should be considered blessed that you
Yeah,
have 3
two
jugs.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. This is very original too. I mean, and really not the worst I've seen for original paint.
That's not terrible.
No, I mean, and I don't know. Have you ever tried to do any of the flitz work or anything on the silver? Does it? It probably it's too thin. It probably doesn't ever come back.
Yeah, it is thin. I've never tried it on any of it. Well, no, yeah, no, I haven't.
Like, I know the Fiat paint's very thin. If people want to polish on those, don't, because you'll go through it right away. They gave it a very quick color job off the boat or whatever, and then that was that. This is cool. Desert. Is that supposed to be desert tan, or is it one of the red ones? Or they all would have been desert tan in the 1600,
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
it?
was the first year of the 50 series when they went to all red.
That's true. Yeah, that's cool.
Indian Head, Saskatchewan. Whatever.
Now, you're in it.
I
Yeah,
don't care if it's Indian or.
yeah, I don't care. What's missing here? What did these have to hold them?
There was I actually have a picture. Got it on Herman there.
Yeah, because I've never. These were not a thing where we were. Oh, so it had like a thing inside it with one of those
the cam
little
action.
hooks that pull.
Yep. There was a wing kind of like a wing nut, and then that hook, and I'm missing the anchor. Is that here?
No,
you just
it's
looking over there, but this one hurt. But anyway, yeah, you twisted that, and the cam action would draw it tight.
Oh, that's what held it.
You
shut.
can see you can see the outline where that other piece was.
Yeah, not the bungee cord, but yeah.
Well, you got a stick welder. You can go through it like the General Lee. Just
you
go
go.
over. I bet there's not another one of them anywhere to be found. 1100 propane, Massey Ferguson.
Would that be a Perkins? Or a
A
Waukesha?
Perkins gas? I don't know.
Might be a Waukesha now I think about it.
It is a Waukesha. It is a Waukesha.
Oh yeah, you can see it from this
Wonder what? Yeah, it looks just like. Wonder what size they would have been. Or the numbers on that side, probably, huh? Of the casting number. What would it be comparable to?
Probably a 302 with the block or the plate on the side of the.
Oh yeah.
Looks like
That's one of those ones that was in like the what those puller guys you see all the time won it.
Yeah,
But
well,
it's
that's the Super 90
Super 99
and
gas.
90, 950, or the gas, yeah. The
30
950.
302.
Yep. Those were a dry sleeve instead of a wet sleeve.
Oh, so that's a lot of fun. Bore the block out. And G704 front wheel assist with a plow.
Snowplow.
That's very original too, I think. And a cab. Wonder if that's a factory.
What's the company that made it? It looks just
I
like
would
the
say
cab on the Super 90.
Like the Henniker, not Henniker, those all-season cabs or the.
Oh wait, there's a name, Mead.
Oh, no,
Oh.
that's the dealer.
Oh,
No, yeah.
No, manufactured by Mead.
Manufacturing. Mead, Kansas.
That is cool.
It's almost exactly like one of my Super 99.
It's got that big round. Does it have on the roof like the air thing?
No, it doesn't have that. I don't recall, no, because I stood on top of it not too long ago. Had to hang those signs somehow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. 4010 diesel, single front wheel. Took it on a tractor drive. He said, "This thing's junk." He said, "I never want another one of those." He said, "It steers so hard, the single front wheel, and then if you put a diesel on top of it, I can't imagine that's probably."
You know, there's
You would
probably
think.
less rubber contacting the ground, but maybe that's what.
I don't know. Or,
Out of them and they grab more.
I don't know. He just said by the end of that, he's like, "My arm is 3 times the size of what." That's neat too. I've never seen a tricycle. One of these.
I think you could pull carrots with it. You just line up the rope
Yeah.
in the front 2 wheels and pop. They'll pinch them and pop them.
Yeah, look how there's a little rubbing going on there. Rubbing is racing, though. So
So there you go.
you know, man, we haven't even seen the good stuff. I'm happy out here. I mean,
This next one, it's
yeah.
like one before.
yeah, that's what I mean. It takes very little to impress me, I guess. Just
Caden's standing on that 1900 or whatever it is.
190 X. fat tires on this.
It hasn't moved since the last time I was here.
This is
Oh yeah, it's
1350 muley. Yeah, look at that. Probably rack stuck, you think? I'd say.
grab a battery.
Let's fire it up. I thought we'd just pull start it, like with a rope.
Yeah.
There's a big,
Yeah, because it's got a reservoir here for, it's got a pump, separate pump for power steering.
there's a cock shut, but it's not really. It's one of those that's badged as a co-op. What do they call them? CCILs? I don't know if those were sold in Ohio, if that was an Ohio thing, or is that a Canadian thing, or... That's cool. G706. Huh. Yeah, that's not a creeper drive, because that...
That's the spot for the center hydraulic pump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. No, the creeper thing, I had one of those. That's a different animal too, just mechanical.
It uses the exact same case.
But it has, yeah, and it's got that, and I didn't have all those pieces, but it's supposed to have, like, there's a rod that comes out the back so that it's not supposed to let you shift it into the low, but I was missing some of that stuff.
The shift rod?
It somehow blocks out. There was another linkage thing that's supposed to be in there missing, and I think when you did that, something shot out the back of the case, and it was supposed to, like, keep you from shoving it in the low with the...
It lined up with the shift rail on the transmission, and there were special ones for those, and they would come out, and so when it come back, it would
hit that, yeah.
You could only shift
You,
it.
you weren't supposed to use it in all the gears. It was only...
road gear, or, fifth, the higher gears.
But if you had it in low gear at an idle, you could probably park it here and it wouldn't make it to the end of the driveway tomorrow. I mean, it was slow. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, that should have a special transmission code if it's got creeper, just because it's got to have those special...
Yeah, and it did. I can't remember what the number was, but it did have a... I don't know. That's pretty neat. A 190 tricycle. 7040 with the canopy, the 4-post canopy. Looks like a cab, but it's not.
I believe Larry said that's like pretty rare.
It is. That's a 4-post canopy you hardly ever see, because you see a lot of them where guys cut the cab and it looks something like that, but they actually made it like that. And then I worked on one time that had a roll bar, which factory roll bar, a 7000, I think it was. Little gleaner. I don't know if that's a Model A. I think it is, with the Buddha Model A gleaner. I don't know. What does it say here on this tag? Chime in, Alice people. That's super cool. Another Deutz back there, and 1955 cockshut.
Yeah.
That's pretty original shape there. I think that would probably polish up nice.
Oh, I think so. Must be about a 70.
With the white sticker on, because they actually, 69, 70, or just 1 year was
it started in late 69 and rolled into 70. I can't remember.
And then they gave up on it.
We were talking about that. When exactly?
656 high clearance. That's neat
Basically, if you
too.
look at the serial tag and if it says Hopkins instead of Charles City or Chicago,
It would have had the white sticker.
I think so.
Huh. Here's that picker like I was talking about a while ago. This is what Great Grandpa had, and you could change it to somehow you could change the snapping rolls and make it pick sweet corn. Canadian. But yeah, these Allis pickers were low profile. I mean, you wonder how they worked. I mean, look at there's nothing to them. Yeah, you had good visibility, and I don't know if that maybe some of this is the sweet corn stuff, because I don't know. I don't know what.
That's an interesting.
I don't know. I do know that one thing Grandpa said that it had for sweet corn, which I'm surprised that anybody's still alive. It had an attachment that fit up here somewhere, and it was basically like 2 open lawnmower blades spinning to detassel before it went in the machine. And I got the parts book, and that's what it looks like. It looks like 2 two lawnmower blades with a belt, and they're up here just hacking.
Shielding or?
No, there's no shielding. We don't need safety. Safety is a 4-letter word. We don't need that.
It's like, oh, the corn's easy when the blades come off.
It's when the blade, yeah, when the blade decapitates the worker. But I mean, the corn, you're right in the action. It's falling like right around you to get.
Griffin, but these just
Oh, is it?
does it go through or what?
I wonder if that's some type of ear saver, contemporary type thing or something.
It might even like help pull them up just a little bit or something.
That's cool. I bought it at Super 55. I bought. It was an old man who was going into the nursing home, and his family was selling it stuff, but they were keeping some, and they had one of those all fixed up, and it was a pretty sweet little tractor. I mean,
When I played in the band, we did a gig at someone's barn. I mean, called it's like a barn dominium.
Yeah.
And they had some collector stuff in there, and they had a very
Porsche
nice
diesel.
one of those, so they were going, nines and everything.
and I don't know if they made different sizes of those, or if that's the size, like they just made that size, or if they're that one that he had might have been a little bigger with the same styling.
And this is called the Junior. Or
Porsche diesel.
tag, but once again,
Porsche diesel
the
Junior.
numbers have left the
Left the chat. Well, that's fine. More Deutz. He's got about all the sizes of the Deutz.
There'll be someone in Europe watching your video.
Yeah, that's cool.
They will set you straight.
They will. They'll know them all. Air-cooled diesels, you know.
There's a comment section to tell the content
Make sure
creator
you
how
guys
wrong they are.
That's a pretty good size one there.
I'm sure the comments will tell me right or wrong.
Usually the other YouTubers will tell you whether you're right. No. That's cool. What do we got growing up in the weeds in the value row that we can buy cheap? Is that?
This is right up Ross's alley.
Yeah.
710 or
Yeah, I can't buy them if they're complete. I need the rough ones. That's probably a 7,000 high crop, huh? Does it have the 3-speed on the console? I think it does. I'd climb up here, but I'm afraid I'll get tetanus. But sure.
Your shots aren't up to date.
Well, the veterinarian was busy. Yeah, I don't know what size it is.
that size.
Someone will know. A rollover Allis plow. That's very, very unusual.
Yeah, that 806 is keeping it from rolling over.
I would too, just to see what. I had a guy who said he used one and he said it's excellent if you're next to the woods, because he said it'll slice through the roots. He said it never catches. He said it'll cut through whatever.
I always thought, I was surprised they would just catch on in stony ground, because it seemed like they
Yeah, they'd roll the rock out instead of
like smacking straight onto it.
oh, the big 60-30 deer.
That's a nice one.
That is a nice original there too. Excellent.
Hey, see, here's all your left.
Oh, he's got the whole latch.
This one's complete. Do that. The cam action lets it go. Oh man, it's spot welded up.
Okay, so but that one like a minute ago was different where that back panel.
Yeah, it curved a different way. and
curved
it
a
caught
different-
the panel itself.
Because it was for a 50 series?
I
No,
wanted-
that other one was on a
That was 1600.
yeah.
Just the sheet metal's different. They didn't need the anchor. I'm gonna have to probably make my own anchor.
You got a wrench there? You do. Oh, it's welded. Yeah.
Spot welded on.
I want to take the whole panel.
There you go.
No.
Why stop? Just
Yeah. Comfort King with the M&W pistons. And then we got one of these. This is one of those ones that does like the crab steering, is it not? One of these articulated case. You could set them to do either articulate, or you could set them to do crab steer. Does it have cylinders back there or something? 1470.
It kind of looks like there's hoses going down.
504 cubic inches there. Yeah, it does look like there's probably something going on. That's cool.
It's still articulated, isn't there?
I think you could set them where you could steer with the front wheels only or crab steer. I think, or like where it would like front ones would turn one way and the back ones would turn the other way, so you could, I don't know. I'm no case guy. That's a nice tractor too.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody's already done a little loving on it, I think, to make it
Yeah.
bring it around. Cockshut Continental. I don't think I've ever seen a cab that had that decal on it either. You see the Oliver Continental cab, but not the Cockshut Continental. Rear entry.
Demonetized.
Demonetized. You can't say rear entry on YouTube. That's not right. Front entry only. Side entry. There you go. There's the steering. I didn't see. Look at this. Now, did you notice this? I didn't know this about these cabs. I've never had one, but Wheatland, the hydraulics right into the back of the cab.
I do believe I've seen one like that before.
But there's obviously some other piece that's supposed to, like, retain them.
Probably, I got some on Herman. It's a cast iron piece, and it bolts into there, and then these come into the back
but
side.
another thing though too probably is those were probably Aero-Quip couplers first, weren't they? That were bigger.
Yeah, but you're right.
So that's why
these always have the best gauges and stuff because
they're in the cab. Yeah.
They're always protected.
Yeah, and your steering wheel center. Look at that beautiful thing that probably nobody reproduces. I mean, sweat wide swinging drawbar.
I don't think they were hooked up to PTO.
No, I think that's. Did we look how many hours are on it? Oh, a lot more than I would have guessed. 7292. Oh, wow. This does not look like a 7,200-hour tractor.
I think a block.
No, they probably needed a piece and just kept.
Yeah, uncommon.
Because I've got green pieces with red under them.
Yeah.
On a lot of them. Oh yeah. I wonder this tractor didn't always have this cab on it, and it had the shields, and they took it off.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's what this is. Somebody put the cab on it. Because I don't think they would have left it that way at the factory if the guy said, "Hey, I want a cab instead of that," and then just. That's pretty neat. This is what we'll come back and look at in another 50 years. Yeah. All of this collection of stuff. Brand.
Back then, people had to drive the tractors.
They had to use, they could only work 40 foot at a time.
You had to turn around at the end.
Yeah. I'll put your tailgate down. There's some tires here we can load up while we're here. There's a nice sign.
Yeah.
Flat top fenders for an Allis-Chalmers. Those are a hot commodity.
Oh yeah.
The dealer I worked at said back in the, I don't know, mid 70s, they put on year-round cabs one after another. And he said we had a mountain of flat top fenders out back, and he said I wish we had them still, but over the years guys would come and want them for fix a hole in the fence or something, and they'd sell them and whatever. I mean, yeah, a 440.
V8 Cummins.
There was a 555 Cummins. My cousin had one. Yeah, triple nickel. There was a guy down by us who had 3 of these at one time and farmed with them back in the day. But my cousins had one, and then they finally had trouble with it, couldn't figure out what was wrong, and ended up tearing it down, and it had sheared all the bolts off the flywheel, and everything was just along for the ride. It would still start up and move, but there was obviously something wrong. Really? All the pieces were just hanging on enough to... He's got some power units back here. Well, you can get the other angle. Don't let me stop you. I'm in my own world half the time anyway, so. Yeah, but sometimes people like the behind the scenes thing, you know. You know how that works. There's a snow, they call these a snow bee, maybe. This behind the scenes, that's right.
You recognize that?
The different, yeah. Like, yeah.
Don't swear because you're on the air.
Don't swear. Well, Ski Whiz. Look at that sign. There can't be another one of them very.
I gotta go to the bathroom now.
Ski Whiz, yeah. Whiz.
Actually, it does look like
Heston. Well, that's fine.
Another Heston sign.
Heston signs. Yes, now we're getting to the good stuff. A 1650 front wheel assist, which not very many. That's like one of the
85
lower ones, yeah.
Yep, and it's light enough to have a 3-speed in it and the engine.
Cool. Yeah, I did not notice that. 3-speed. Boy, there can't be what do you think? A dozen maybe late ones like that, or what? Is there more? I mean, they were not. 1655 was even less, wasn't it? Of front wheel assist.
It was pretty close, but a lot of them got exported for the 1655.
Oh, there you go. Can't multi-fit. There's a 2150. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Look at that. 2255. Front wheel assist. And it's working close. 2155 Moline. That's pretty cool. You don't see them very much. An American 80 with a cab. Your American's a 60, isn't it?
It's 80.
It is an 80, so it's just like this one then, huh? Yeah, these are little sweethearts to drive. The cab is very similar, like they used in the whole Workhorse series in the end. My 9650 cab set up just like that too. I think you could still polish it out, you know. There's a yellow 60. Yellow, very hard to find. We were talking about that earlier. Somebody's made him a new plexiglass cover for that. What do we have here? A cockshut. What is this? A cockshut 1655? 1555.
That is, so we're supposed to go to Vietnam, right?
Yeah, the one of the ones that didn't make it to
This
Vietnam.
is one of the one, no, is it this one or this one? Yes, this one did not make it over.
That's cool. And I've seen some of these where they, well, yeah, this is one of those because it's actually got cockshut stickers on it, but it's green. And it was supposed to be exported, but it never made the trip for whatever reason. That's what yours will look like in 60 years from now.
I still got
The original bubble. I was looking at this one that they made, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the originals, didn't they have texture, like lines to
Yeah, they
help
had lines.
dissipate the light or
Yeah,
something?
And so you really couldn't see the headlights that well.
And I wonder what they did here, because that's actually pretty impressive that they curved that.
Yeah, that they even curved it to make it fit that.
Probably heated it some and.
But the originals, it goes right through the stuff. There's no trim edging on it, is there? I can't remember.
There was a gasket behind it, because remember we had one come in, they'd gotten water behind.
It filled up with water or something?
Yeah, and I drilled a small hole in it.
And I didn't realize either, looking at these, underneath those was clover white, but then underneath this was silver,
That's interesting, this is silver.
or not yellow. You know, you would think it would be yellow, since this is yellow, but...
Was this one gonna be a silver tractor?
And then they changed gears at the last minute, and we're like, hey, yellow. And then they just left that part.
This was actually called New Idea Light Gray.
Yeah, because it's not really white anymore.
It's not clover white. It's not. And but the silver ones, this was black. All the colored
That's
ones
true,
were white.
yeah.
And
Huh. That's interesting. Little details that make this fun, you know? I mean, and then we're talking about this tractor that didn't get exported, but was set to, and how many of them were there? Like 100, maybe, that were supposed to be exported and never made it, or
I think
something?
it was the order was for 100. I think the first 25 got sent out.
So there's 75 of these out there somewhere, in theory.
Yeah, in theory.
Because they're green with cockshut stickers, which is...
My phone would let me open my file, I could tell you.
Oh, phone's not playing nice out here.
Microsoft updated things, and I got to log in again.
Oh, we got an...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I kept one in stock.
Yeah, that's a... and front wheel assist too. I don't know what the breakdown was of Americans front wheel assist versus not, probably half and half or so.
The numbers I had only showed colors and 60 and 80.
So they never kept track of that this much.
They might have, but the person that got me the information knew someone at AGCO who went and
Yeah,
looked it
because
up.
they still have all the records, don't they, for
They have
those?
the records for those. They probably do know the answer, but
They'll never tell us. Nah.
hold their mouth closed.
Yeah. We got an 1870, another Moline Oliver.
This would have been a G955,
Is that what it is?
but it was made for the Canadian market.
So they call, and by that time they were whites and not cockshuts.
Yeah, like the 2255s
Yeah.
were whites and not cockshuts, although apparently a couple did slip out with cockshut decals on them.
Calcium material.
Oh yeah, another calcium on an 8070.
There's a calcification.
Oh my goodness. These were nice track. I just worked on one of these yesterday, an 8030, but the cabs in these were very roomy. They were probably the best cabs of that era because, yeah, exactly. You could have square dance in there. Look at that, a tricycle 1855 gas. That is unique. I know that years ago I should have bought and didn't a tricycle 1755 gas, and I thought that was cool, but
I never saw how they mounted the cooler pump.
on a gas, yeah. Hey, that's
unique.
that is neat.
Because they always had to get around the injection pump, but this they could tuck in there a little better.
And it still got low enough. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then really wonder if in the early ones they couldn't have put it up higher because, so they had it figured out on the gas one. They never had that problem probably like they did.
And that's why they wondered how come the diesels are having this issue.
Yeah, that's
How
pretty
many
neat.
gas 1855?
How many hours are on this? There can't be many.
Danger. I can't get up there.
I can do it. I'll do it. Danger and I have an agreement.
Look
Now,
at that, it's 1541.
yeah, that looks like it. It looks like it. 1,500 hours. Open station tractor. The dash looks like brand new. And I mean, look at it all.
Upgraded to the Zenith carburetor from that.
Oh, from that stupid aluminum Chevrolet block
I don't blame them.
of sadness. No, as a matter of fact, there was a 1800 something I worked on, and somebody had made an adapter to adapt it to a cast iron thing, and I thought that was slick. That was I would do that. I mean, way better than that aluminum block of sadness. That's the official name in the parts.
Is that what that's officially called?
Yeah, aluminum block of sadness. Yeah, this has to be a very few and far between to find one like equipped like this, but then also,
And in this nicer shape.
I know. I mean, it's like new.
I mean, look, you put little flitzer.
I know. You could polish it right up.
Probably like filled the gas tank a couple times. They're like, yeah, we're not.
Parked it.
For a while, my uncle had a 72 Ford pickup. I think it was a 3/4 ton. Pair of brothers that farmed potatoes both went out looking for a truck. One bought a stake truck and one bought this 3/4 ton Ford. And they're like, well, we're gonna use a stake truck, and they parked the Ford in one of the potato bins. And so it was out of the weather and everything. And
It's time capsule.
it was. It only had a few thousand miles on it.
Wow.
My uncle bought it and gorgeous. And then he was just driving around all the time.
I gotta have this. I mean, like, I think I would sell several things to buy this. I love this tractor. Yeah, well, I got at least one I can do it. The Mountain Dews work pretty hard on the kidneys, so maybe you need to pick a different organ. I could probably spare you a lung that's half full of asthma, but not. There's a 4W305. Yeah, the liver's pretty hardened too, so 4W305. Oh, here's a red American.
A red, a yellow, and a green in here.
That's.
He's got a silver in the other location, so he's got the whole.
He's got the whole set. And there we go again. Now, I can't see through this, but here's what I'm talking about, the texture.
Yeah, it's got the texture to it.
But I can't see what color it looks like it's gray under there too.
Now mine is, I can see is white behind there. I mean,
Yeah,
mine's
see, so
still
that's
pretty
weird. I
clear.
wonder why the green one's got white and the other one's got silver back there.
Yeah.
Unless they all started out as silver unless they were green.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't think I've seen a red one in person. I don't know. I don't know.
A painted up one, so whenever I see them fresh painted out.
Yeah, you question whether it's really original. I don't know where to tell you to go to find another red one, really. I don't know. I mean, and that's, I mean, you know that's legit. It's the right amount of worn.
Ontario tractor.
And that's the factory cater. Is that the factory top that it would have had on there too, or is that something that aftermarket? The one I had remnants of a top, but I think it was a homemade,
Did
like
they
they
all have
clamped
the
it.
white on the
Yes,
fender like
they
that?
did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they all said white, didn't they?
Most of them.
Does yours just has a stripe?
No, it doesn't have the stripe.
But see, yours has a cab.
Mine has a cab.
And the cab is different than the fender. Even the, like all that is different on the cab one because it's
dash
part
is-
of the cab.
Yeah, it's
Oh, the dash and everything's different.
It's basically like a 145, 125. It's a workhorse
Yeah.
cab.
Yeah,
They
it's
fit
this-
on there, so the dash
It's part of
everything
that.
is different. Yeah.
So there are some different. So I don't know. That's an interesting point, though. Did the cab ones not have that, and only the open stations ones had that? Well, let's do some research. It's nice when you got other things right here that you can just answer your questions. What's that one? Has nothing on it.
That's got the white on the fender.
Mine doesn't have anything on the cab.
Yours doesn't have any stripes at all either, huh?
No, just the
Yeah.
up here, but nothing on the
And
cab.
see, those fenders are part of that cab, so
Yeah.
that would make sense maybe that's.
And this is the 60.
And this one, what's this one got? It's got the stripe with the white.
Yeah.
I wonder if there must be something to that, but.
Doyle, my mom's boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
he's got an American 60 with a cab, but it was like the prototype one or what. And
Oh, really?
It's got the sticker, if I remember right, on the.
So maybe it was an early thing versus late
Well,
thing.
the cab didn't come out until after like the first year. They didn't have the cab ready to go, and his was like the one they were
Testing on.
And so I think it's got it's got a turbo on it, even though it's a 60. And I think so when they threw the cab on it later, they probably put those decals on, just trying it out or whatever, because it was not born as a cab tractor.
So it may be. We're not giving up on this theory yet. It may still be true that
Yeah,
the
that-
cab ones don't have that sticker, but the other ones do. I don't know.
I would stick with that.
Yeah, we'll stick with that. We'll make up facts as we go. Politicians do it. Why can't
I
I?
saw it on the internet.
Yeah, it's on the internet, so it has to be true. We have a whole other side to look at here we've not even looked at yet. I haven't. There was a bunch of them years ago that
Yeah.
you'd see those around, and now you never see any anymore at all.
That was basically the Blazer or the Bronco.
I don't know how many hours, but it's clean.
It's nice.
That is
You know, look at the bolts. I mean,
4W305.
spin out rims on the duals.
That's
When you're side dressing,
yeah.
12 rows at a time.
That's a sharp horse right there. 285. I wonder how many of these they made. A bunch. 285s and 2 105s you saw
Must be a later
everywhere.
one. It doesn't have the lower filler
Mm.
on the tank. Yeah, there was a lot of 85s and 105s in our area. All over sales. Angola. Oh,
There you
I went
go,
to their
Angola.
auction when they closed.
A high crop 8030. That's very unusual. I don't think I've ever seen a high crop 8000 series tractor, so that's pretty interesting.
Dozer to his uncle. Brand new. They had a tile company and did drain tile work. And then it sat in the guy's barn for years. He said, "You ever get that dozer? Get rid of it?" He goes, "No, we got it. We'll get it unburied." And they went and got it back. And
Wow. That's cool.
Check out this beach.
Like a D17.
The beach.
Does he has a Beachmaster tractor too, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably would.
The whole set. You see the tractors, but you never see this part. Picks the trash up and what, dumps it in
All
a,
the corn cobs off the beach.
yeah. And then what's it do with it? Dump it in
There's
a bin or,
there's a bin back here.
and then the sand falls through.
Yeah. And then people come in and make
Stray
them do it
kids,
all over again.
stray kids, they end up in there, whatever.
People that didn't clean up after the dog.
That's right. Dog ends up in there, poodle. At the end of the day.
yeah, with the tractor.
With the
How often do you see that?
That's what I mean. You never.
Someone tried to pick rocks with it. A couple of them baffled.
Yeah, I saw that. Didn't work as good. That's probably what put the holes in the chain.
Like that one guy wouldn't get out of the way.
Yeah, well, he'll learn, won't he? Yeah, once is enough. Look at that. It's even got, I don't think I've ever seen one that had this on it.
Oh, it's got a
The Scarifier, whatever you call it.
that digs up all the bodies on the bench.
Yeah.
A 190, and look, I mean, just look at that. Original tractors are just so much nicer to, I could look at these all day because,
That's a lot.
yeah, look at the,
But look, the ignition's on this side.
no, that's a 301. It's an Allis-Chalmers motor.
Okay.
It's not a, yeah, not a Waukesha. Everything is opposite sides too.
See, I told you I lived in an Oliver.
301 gas, yeah.
Everything's a Waukesha.
That of the motors that anybody made, I will say that the 301 was just next to bulletproof. I've seen those things turned up to like 200 horsepower. The tractor can't take it, but the motor is invincible. So I don't know. I mean, that was and these are cool. I've always thought I'd love to find an old versatile like this. I don't know if is this like the Model 100, the first one they made, a D118.
Or, V6 Cummins. I'm sorry.
V6. That's unusual.
I don't even know what that is.
No, I don't know either. Well, if the 555 is the V8, then this is like a 444. No,
Is this original equipment?
probably repower maybe. I don't know. It's pretty cleanly put in there though.
D118.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just neat. I mean, these were back when nobody really knew what they were doing yet with four-wheel drive tractors and trying something new and sell a few and then go and. But that, like the first one they made, I think was a D100, and you could get it as a gas or a diesel. And I don't know. I've always thought those were neat, but whatever. 1850 front wheel assist. I've never seen the sticker put here, but
No.
personal preference, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that is a sweet tractor, really. I mean,
Got the optional cooler bypass.
that, well, you know, if it starts leaking, you don't need it.
Right.
That's one score I got out of the junkyard the other day. I found a pristine one of those on the shelf. Yeah, and I thought, hey, you can't. And I messed up because years ago, do you get that Surplus Center catalog? You know what I'm talking about? Years ago, they had those things for 20 bucks a piece, and I thought I should order a whole bunch of those, and I didn't, and now they don't have them anymore.
I found them online, and I bought one, and I still got it on the shelf.
Really?
A brand new one of those.
Yeah.
I recently looked them up, like, they don't have them anymore.
No, I know. I don't know why they, but I remember that in that catalog, and I was like, I need to get some of those, and then, and they were cheap. They were like 20 bucks a piece.
I'll just order it next time.
Yeah, I'll just order it later.
I was like, I'm gonna have one on the shelf for the if I need another one, I'll order it.
Yeah, and now they don't exist,
Yeah,
so.
well, probably the Surplus Center should have been the first clue.
And a 1650 hydraulic front wheel assist, which I think, didn't they make these for John Deere too, that you could get this attachment? And I've seen
John Deere had a hydraulic drive front wheel assist.
Levy was the company that made them.
There's a cover if anybody needs one.
Yeah,
The dealer, he had it over there for sale.
really.
Another cover.
That one guy bought that out. That
There was a switch, and this one still got it.
interlock switch. Yeah.
Yep.
So
When you push down on the clutch pedal, it would turn off the hydraulic.
so you don't crawl in the
so you don't
thing.
keep going.
Let's take a look at this.
There's also switches on the shift rail, so you could only use it in certain gears. Couldn't use it in reverse.
Because you had to. No, and you had to manually, like that's the deal, you had to manually guess your speed for what was happening and manually match it with this to where you were and hook it in there. But then like you said, step on the clutch, shuts that off so you don't, because if that's bypassed and you start it up and it's down in there, you're going forward as soon as it builds pressure.
It also took a moment for it to kick in.
Yeah.
So if you stopped, you were done.
Somebody told me I don't remember where I heard that or read it or something, but at a show they went to move one and some kid had pulled that lever down and it didn't have that switch, started it up and you think you're fine, and then a second later it takes off towards the thing, and so yeah, that's a pretty neat option. But
That's why they had all those switches.
but you get your adjustability and high clearance for row crop work, but you still have front wheel assist. But
Yeah, the biggest thing was clearance.
because you get I mean, what, the other ones are like this high off the ground maybe, and now you've gained another, not quite a foot probably, but I don't know. That's pretty neat. I don't know how many of those they sold either, and I don't know how many gas versus.
For the 1850, wasn't that the literature?
You see them a lot on an 1850, more than probably anything. But I think I've seen them on a 1750 before too, and
1950, I've seen one or two.
Yeah.
Bill Gamble had the 1950 with this on it, and I don't think it was hooked up anymore.
No, it's just along for the ride.
Yeah, looked good for shows, but
No, that's cool. I mean, I think I could find something to do with that if I had it. I think it would be handy for something, you
a
know.
piece of literature And it looks like a picture of a real tractor. They had a high clearance version of this where it had
Really?
spindles in front and then drop boxes in the rear.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Whether one ever snuck out or not, I don't know.
Boy, if you mounted a sprayer on that, you'd be able to, you'd have been the big time sprayer in the 1960s.
Yeah,
Look at that.
all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive, high crop. Look at all these signs leaned up against the wall. Massey Ferguson and Fent signs, Agco signs, New Holland signs. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I had to put in a new order.
High crop 190.
Let's say they ordered. Get over there.
I was gonna say, is that a cotton picker back there?
Cotton picker, and he doesn't know where there's another one like.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever seen one either. That's what I saw that basket.
It came out. It's what he said.
Oh, a quick thing though, these spreaders, I heard from rumor mill that Allis-Chalmers made those Oliver spreaders too, like the 471s and
Some of
whatever.
the late ones, I understood. Yeah.
And I don't know what but it looks just like one, doesn't it? I mean, so that's very true,
The
probably.
number list I have shows in the list which ones were Allis-Chalmers and which ones were Oliver.
Oh, there, that is, it's self-propelled. That's cool.
You don't want to run your cotton knot down.
Now, look at that, an 860 Allis-Chalmers cotton harvester. I don't know that I would have ever seen anything remotely like that. I've seen some of the tractor mounted stuff before, but yeah, that's neat. I bet they didn't make very many of them.
Yeah.
A Wisconsin company making cotton harvesters, probably not very many in the main, but I think he's got about the whole set of Gleaner combines in all these buildings we've been in. Look at that one, it's got raised letters on the,
Oh, stamp, yeah, embossed.
I don't know if that would have been like the original Gleaner, but
Using that logo here last year, was it? And on a celebration of like 100 years of Gleaner. 100-year anniversary or something.
somebody's seat got a little bit delicious, I guess, for some, yeah, some money. 1650 high crop. I think those are cool. They used to be, I mean, it was gold price to buy one, and now they're almost nothing.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
really dropped off.
I don't know what the deal is. I guess they wouldn't really be that much harder to take to a show other than top heavy, I guess. But
Top heavy, you know, I guess you pop the muffler off.
well, yeah. I mean, that one's in process of,
You don't see the 2-115s that often. It's almost all the 4-wheel drive.
yeah, 2-115. Mighty Toe. That's pretty cool. Now that is what type of transmission is that in here? Because it does not have a filter. Is that a creeper? That's a creeper. It is. That's a creeper because it's got that linkage on the back to lock it out.
Because they use the same case as the hydropower. They actually use the same input and output shafts as the hydropower. That's why the gears slide.
Yeah, you can just barely see that plate move. That's probably not on camera, but there's a plate that moves when you pull the lever, and it keeps the shift rails from going into certain gears. I don't remember what it is. You're not allowed to use it in 4th and 6th or something, or I don't know.
I think
Reverse maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
But pretty neat. But you're right. I don't think when do you often see a 2-115? Very, very seldom.
Two-wheel drive.
Yeah, two-wheel drive. Most of them
Factory hydraulics usually.
are bareback. Yeah.
They were probably bought for like a.
And it has a narrow drawbar like you'd have on a rail crop tractor, and not the wide
PTO too.
PTO hydraulics. This is kind of a puzzle, really, because usually when you see them with no 3-point arms, they have the wide swinging drawbar, and this is the rail crop drawbar with factory hydraulics but no rock shaft. That's very
Yellow on that drawbar cradle.
yes, that looks like it to me over here, but
This side looks like it's been replaced.
well, maybe it has been brutally tortured at some point in its life. Yeah, maybe it has been replaced. Maybe that's, if it would have had some type of attachment on it, maybe it didn't have a drawbar at all. And then when they took it off, somebody slapped that on.
Could have been with a Cooper gear. Seems like most of the snowblower tractors are still 4-wheel drive.
That's true. But they would have still had something to, like a drawbar in the back if it had a front mounted attachment. But if it had like I guess this wouldn't really have had a backhoe or something, but I don't know. Maybe, who knows? The sky's the limit when they're industrial. Could be anything.
They needed it for it. Yeah,
This is kind of neat too. This is these Allis-Chalmers combine usually see, what is it, an all crop 60, and this is an all crop 40. Look how narrow it is. I wonder if that's like 4-foot cut. We're about to run out of battery. That's sad because there's a lot of cool stuff here. I'll have to switch to my phone or something. 1135 Massey Ferguson. What are you doing? What's that? Oh, you don't want to be, oh, you're going to take a scheduled, yeah, drain. There's a 97 Massey Ferguson. That's obviously a Moline built deal. That's, I kind of like the patina on that one too.
Moline Dan will know what that is.
Yeah, it's a, I don't know, I'm not up on the, what are those, like G5s or whatever probably, or something like that. I don't know. He can chime in, but that's pretty cool.
They said it was original cab tractor, you know, that was.
Yeah, because obviously the Moline cab would go right on, so since it's a Moline.
I think if we say Moline name one more time,
Yes, if we do, if we say his name enough times, yeah. 2705. The Plainsman.
basically a 4-post.
Yeah, 4-post open canopy or whatever, ROPS. There's a Heritage Plainsman or whatever you call them, with red, white, and blue, but
Yeah.
it's being used as a what do you call that? An aviary right now.
Hey, better check it for eggs and things are worse than mine.
Yeah, that's true. Bubble nose on here, and they even painted that blue to blend in with the thing.
I'm gonna have to record.
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, this is an original paint thing.
A neighbor, and there, now it's recording. A neighbor of ours that was also a mechanic that worked for us at the time, he had one of these, but it was an open station.
Really?
I thought it was kind of neat.
That is
But it was the
cool.
red.
Is it red,
I don't know
white?
if it was a Heritage or if it was
Now,
just a red one.
was it a 1400 or a
I think
1600?
it was a 1600.
That's cool.
It has since left the area. He is unfortunately no longer with us.
The tractor or the man?
Both.
Okay, well.
Well, the tractor.
Station?
What's that?
You could have gotten an open station.
I probably should have been. I thought it was always thought it was me. Yeah, he was a guy that farmed near us and he worked for us off and on through the years, and he had an E4T 1600 with an open station.
And I did a lot of, when I got that little Fiat Heritage thing, I tried to find out, get a copy of those drawings, but that show you the, you know, orientation of the stars, and they had 5 stars and the different.
Did you say like the Canadian ones had maple leaves? Or?
Somebody said yes, and I've never seen the drawing. Somebody said they saw it, but it's like that thing, like I saw Santa Claus once, but he was, or Elvis, he was in a truck stop in Tennessee. No, so I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody said that the drawings did have maple leaves on the Heritage, on the Heritage Canadians. Yes.
He pulled up the drawings on it, and they
Yeah,
showed maple leaves.
and I've tried to find out what the deal is. Like,
He's never seen one, but
no, so they never made one, but it was their concept of what
Yeah.
possibly they would do. But
that was the plan, and the plan got nixed. And
big, there we go. All right,
let me take out the butt crack.
okay, let's.
Oh God, I hope this thing doesn't.
If it breaks, we got evidence now. All right, he's a big dig.
Pleasure.
Yeah, what do they call? What I say? Oh, Big Buddha. Yeah, Big Buddha.
Between that and your little skid
Yeah, the mini skid steer. I'll tell you that from running that one the cousin's got. It's like putting on a pair of tight pants.
I like that shot you had where you got in when the camera must have been sitting on something, you could see it get in, you're like smiling and you sat down.
You know, and that problem is, like with that, when I was in it, there's no place to stick the camera because you don't have enough room to do anything.
That's why I always start from the outside, because the key's like right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And like you end up pushing the levers, and then they're
Yeah.
not in the neutral safety
Yeah.
spot. You can't
I
get the
watch
damn
you, I'm
thing
like,
at 'em. Yeah, I can't get it to stay quite, not drift on me some.
Versatile.
This would only be tempted by fat guys on YouTube, so Ross can try it.
That's right.
I think this is their fireman.
Yeah.
The modern equipment shed. I saw some old stuff out in the other.
On the next corner there.
I wouldn't mind to borrow one of these for a season or so.
Find something to do with it.
I could probably find something to do. It'd probably pull my
Deeper up the whole farm.
big disc better. Yeah. A 303 baler. I like balers. I don't know. We got a 66. Very original.
Yeah, leave Even the part where I said that fat man and almost skid steer.
Fat man, yeah, fat man and
Sometimes I don't
skid
remember what
steer.
almost got.
That's sweet. You don't hardly ever find them in this condition anymore, just out in the wild.
No,
You know, very original. Parked in a barn.
Still got the strap to keep
The side shields from flapping. 44D special. Is that a? That's not a. Is that a propane? No, diesel. It is a diesel. Wonder why it's got that.
spark plug or
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was trying to figure out what's
Probably, coil goes to the water pump.
preheater. Oh, okay. Well, yes, of course. How silly of me. I forgetting my Matthew Harris. Your electric water pump. Yeah, spark plug driven water pump, and then you got the diesel. Then that scrapyard, there was a, what was it, a 44 that was there with those Oliver parts. I almost bought that tractor because it was perfect sheet metal too, and it's probably going in the crusher. I mean, it's sad. I mean, yeah, hard to watch. There's an RC.
Can't save them all, but you know, that's
An RC and a WF maybe. I'm not sure what that is. WF and an F12. An F12 with a
neighbor has a 2135 with a clutch problems and red stripe, but it's the first series red stripe.
7060. I think we gotta go this way.
Back in there.
7060 with the 4-post canopy. And a, look at this horse right here. 2150 2-wheel drive cock shut.
I can't open that.
No, can't get that either. Propane D17 high crop. Oh, here we go. Here's my little spaghetti thing back here. 1365 high crop, 2-wheel drive. That's set up like those mudders, but as a 2-wheel drive. And it's got, apparently raccoons love it too, because they've got the seat really decked out nicely. That's that's a lot.
That might be the biggest pile I've ever seen.
I like that tractor. I would not mind owning that. That is a neat little
I
feller.
believe you get the raccoon.
D15. There's a D15 down there with a sycamore. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. And this big, is this an Allis-Chalmers or something, or what is this?
High voltage.
High voltage, big generator. Just says keep away, I don't know. An 8070. I bet that's a, would that have been a cab and they took it off, or was it never a cab? I bet that was a cab and they just gutted it.
No, I forgot.
What's in here? Ooh, a D10 with cultivators. Oh, lots of tractors. A Satley painted orange. That's kind of unusual. Those were Montgomery Ward's old engines, and I think they were dark green. I've got a 3-horse, a D12, 44 special Matthew Harris, WD-45. These old Allis, like what are they? Used, maybe UCs. I don't know. I don't know the numbers. This is pretty cool. Just out here hanging out. Is that a case? Like a DC case or an SC case? I'm not sure which ones had the tin front and which ones had the cast front. That is sweet. And an F12 Farmall on steel rubber. It's like it's got steel slid in and a rubber on the outside or something. I don't know what's going on there. That is cool. And a 170 tricycle, which is basically a D17 in square sheet metal. Those are nice little tractors. That is cool. That is cool. There's a lot of neat stuff in here. I mean, other brands, but old tractors. A Satley, sold by Montgomery Ward. I've got a 3-horsepower one, but somebody's obviously painted that like Allis-Chalmers orange, but that's a pretty big. I wonder if that's a 6. Sometimes you can't tell because they can be gigantic and only be like 3 horsepower.
Yeah.
But
I used to have a huge one.
What was it? What brand was it?
It was made in Jackson, Michigan. I'm trying to remember what the guy that now has it, his grandfather worked at the factory that built them.
Yeah.
And he's been wanting to get it off of me for years, and I'm like, I think it's time to get it going. And finally, serial number 277 standard shows up on eBay out in Canada, and he's like, I can get this back here. He says, that sweetened the deal. And, yeah, you're getting my attention now. So,
Boy, it doesn't say on the tag on this one.
I got the 77 plus some cash to boot.
Really?
For that engine.
For that engine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of heavy because I probably still got taken.
Yeah, the trailer's balanced with it.
Balanced, yes.
No, I just like finding stuff like this. Original, color, like they just backed it in and shut it off.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
looks like it could go color.
Yeah, like the guy went to lunch and didn't come back yet because he died. Sorry, tractor, he's not coming back. Yeah.
All those years of the wife putting arsenic in his oatmeal.
Yeah, a little bit of antifreeze every day, and that was the end of that.
This is New York, but I don't know where it came from. I don't know.
Well, it comes with the 2-wheel drive conversion.
I'm going in.
Okay. An American 60 front wheel assist. Really a pretty decent-ish original. It's got a few little hiccups from being a loader tractor, but
Number 8, the guy, 7 or 8 American. Oh, the 8's got on the fender.
yeah, I'm going with my theory. I'm going to fender tractors had that and cab tractors didn't, until somebody proves me wrong.
Yeah, they made a few of these.
Yeah, and they don't have this. That's what we're. The sticker with the stripe. We were thinking that the cab ones didn't have it, but the open station did.
I'll have to look at the cabbed over to Larry's. We did.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. So
That's what we were.
we were looking.
Inside of the dealership. I think they just built this building. Oh, Buddy the dog. I opened the door and he made a sad sound, like he's been missing me all day. But I'm telling you what, friends, that was a lot of fun going up to there and seeing all that stuff, the tractor collections and tractor friends, you know. I wish I had more time to go to places like that and do things, but you know, bovines. I can't really stand to be away from here very long, and I don't like to try to ask anybody else to do it for me, you know. So anyway, what I'm gonna do now is, to wrap this up, is Buddy the dog is gonna take a look at all the stuff that I bought. I just gotta get it unpacked from the truck here. All right, Buddy the dog and friends. We'll have to do this in bunches here because I got a ton of stuff, but I should have known, you know, parts vendors are there. So we got all these tractors here, see? And I got a lot of parts for them, but I didn't have everything, so I bought some things to make them more better. I got me a new front flapper there from the Corvez Oliver parts. Consequently, I bought so many parts from Corvez that they let me use their hand truck to cart them out to the car. I stock up on things, so I'll just say, you know, give me a half a dozen whatevers. There's some exhaust gaskets for 77. We were really hunting for them the other day. We got shift boots, we got gear shift knobs. You know, we're gonna need some of those on these projects. What else did we get? We got steering wheel center and cap. In a minute I'll explain that. We got a 2-color emblem to go with that. A dash light, diesel stop chain. I got 2 steering wheels here. One of them is going to be, consequently, for this 77 diesel, because one of the first things I did when I unloaded it was pull on the steering wheel and break off 2 out of 3 spokes, and then the third one broke off from the wheel. So either something is stuck in the steering or stupidity happened. So we're gonna have to investigate that, but I knew I was gonna need a new wheel. And then the second one, which should be identical, is for the 1800A that I have in the barn, because as I've mentioned before, I've got a dash that was like, I paid $300 for a pristine original dash. And in order to change that, we're gonna have to pull the steering wheel and everything out of the dash. And my steering wheel is old and rickety, and I know it won't survive, so might as well buy new stuff. I got some fuel caps and radiator caps, non-pressurized, of course. We'll need those at some point. Stuff like that I like to keep as spares because I go through a lot of stuff. I've got a combination switch for a fleet line. I get a bunch of these. These are super nice, like original with that little extra piece. And you can put a hose on there and try to drain it out. So I always try to keep those on hand. There's the plate for that. There's a super light switch, a super ignition key switch, more of those. You'd be surprised how many of those you go through in a year's time. So I just order a bunch of those all the time. So got all that. I've got a long manifold pipe here because, yeah, I think the one behind me, we need that. We didn't have anything. It's just easier to get it from them because it's pre-made. I should have more than one of these. All right, I got a couple battery trays because we got some tractors that need them. Mainly, I think those two need them. I think both of them have, I know that one's got a crappy one. So we'll slap one of those in there. I've got a radiator. We're gonna need that for one or all of them. They all need radiators, but we'll start with one and give it to the worst ones. Let's kind of go in order by vendor. All that stuff came from Corvez in this box. I'm not very prepared. I'm so excited. It's like a kid on Christmas morning, and I don't have a knife or anything with me. Like literally, this is the kind of stuff that I would enjoy to get as gifts, parts. And I know, like one year I made a Christmas list, and that's what my mom got me for Christmas, was a whole bunch of tractor parts. So that's super cool. In this box, there's a lot of paper in there. There should be some new grills. And if I do it right, I'm gonna have the paper blown all over creation. Buddy the dog, you take care of that. They had those packaged really well so they didn't get dented. But these are excellent quality. And you know, I've looked on the internet just the other night for some more better used ones. And you really can't justify it. People are wanting way too much for those used ones, and then they aren't nearly as good as these. So you buy a couple reproduction ones maybe, and then if I do it right, the wind will blow them on the ground and dent them. But yeah, see, that'll take care of that. Then that tractor's fairly complete. Somewhere around here I have what happened to it? There it is. I found another one of these that consequently that came off of a fleet line and not a super, but they're the same. So that will put that back to the way it needs to be on the front end. And then from another vendor that I bought stuff from over the years, Lynch Farms, they make reproduction sheet metal, and that stuff is top notch. And he didn't have everything I wanted. I ordered 2 sets of 77 back panels and a set of these front supers, and he had the front supers and one non-belt pulley side of these. So I took with me what he had. I'll probably have to put them inside so they don't rust, or I'll just let them rust and I'll repaint them later. I don't know. But it's funny on these, he said like this one's primed and this one is bare metal, and they were all stacked up, and I said, should I just take a bare metal set? And he said, well, he said, if you notice real close, he said one side of them are primed and the other side isn't. His grandson was helping him, and he started with like the left-hand side ones and then never ran out of time before the show, and he didn't get time for the right-hand side ones. So well, we're gonna have to probably trim a little bit on there. That pin is a little bit longer than it needs to be, slightly, but that's better than it being too short, because then it won't stay. Yeah, I'll have to do some fine fitment of sheet metal. Sheet metal on these things is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes certain ones of the tractors are in better shape than the other, like the hoods, and then stuff fits better or worse. But these are impossible to find used in decent shape. So if I can just buy, you know, new ones, in the grand scheme of things, they're not that expensive and they're gonna make it look nice. But that's pretty cool. I mean, there's pretty well all the sheet metal I need for one of these. And I think I have a set of fenders in the building, so that's done. That other panel will come with that one. Or, you know, he's gonna send me 3 backs and a pair of fronts. I believe I bought, did I buy another pair of fronts or just 3 backs? I can't remember. I think I just bought 1 pair of fronts now, and I bought 2 sets of these, but he only had 1 panel. So I'm gonna get 3 panels in the mail whenever he gets back home. I thought about buying a set of these for my Super 66, and I probably will do that this summer when I get ready to throw it back together, because it's just, the panels that are on it aren't great. They're better than nothing, but they're not much better than nothing. I tried to get them body worked up better, and it would just be easier to get a set of these. So that's probably what I'll do. But yeah, this here and that emblem, of course, are for this. I'm missing the flapper, and I can get just the flapper part, but this is such good quality stuff that if I just, you know what I'm saying, that fixes that up, and then there you have it, you know. Very much like the original, exactly. I mean, they got her down to the exact pattern pretty well. So I think it'll do what we want. We just gotta, sheet metal is a long ways off though. This one's got the screws still in it, so that's why it's not sitting quite flat. But yeah, that'll fix that up, and then we got everything we need sheet metal wise on that when those back 2 panels come. So that should take care of me there. Like I said, I pretty well decided right away that these 2 tractors are gonna live, because what a cool story. They were in a junkyard and they're gonna run again. So that's what the plan is. So anyway, super fun day. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the footage, because that tractor tour was awesome. I really enjoyed seeing those tractors that they had. There's stuff there that you just don't see everywhere, and I like to go to places like that, because it's like, yeah, it takes a lot anymore for me to see something that I haven't seen before, and that was pretty cool. I do also need to mention one more thing. I was able to get from good old buddy Mike Calsum, and I've already lost one piece of it. Here, what did I do with the other? There it is. There it is. All right. Old Mike Calsum, he's made up some hats. And this is a hat like I've been wearing for a long time, since he made them the first time several years ago. And it's held up great. You can see, I'm wearing it now, all the difference that time makes. You know, that used to look like this. Well, then he got a good idea, which was, why not make it with the early split shield? The very early Fleetline diesels had this decal with the split shield on the side of the hood. So he got some of those made. So I got one of each of those for going to town hats again. Oh, and he threw in a pair of gloves with Diesel Power logo. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So cool stuff that we were able to get from our trip. And like I said, I really enjoy talking to people and the people who watch the channel. There was a lot of people who came up and talked to me, and like I said, I seem like I don't like, when people meet me, I'm kind of overwhelmed, because I don't know you like you know me. You know, you see me, you know what I look like, but I don't know what you all look like. And sometimes I have trouble putting names to faces, but you know, if you explain it, like one guy came up and he told me what his YouTube name was, and I was like, oh yes, I remember seeing that, you know. So then I was able to put that all together. But anyway, it was fun, and if you get a chance to go to an event like that, go. The Hart Park Oliver Collectors Association would like to have you as a member. I mean, you get a magazine 6 times a year, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Plus, all these vendors advertise where you can buy all these snazzy parts like what you see that I've bought. And yeah, I mean, there ain't much that they don't have, so you'll be able to get yourself fixed up. But anyway, I'm gonna call this video here. It's gonna be super long because I'll probably just put it all in one video since it's one day. But it's well worth the watch. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go back and watch the other parts, because the tractor tour stuff was pretty cool. So we're gonna leave this one here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.